Yeah. All right, we are recording. Here we go. Hello and welcome to IQ session number 96, coming to you from the Change Hotel in Launceston, Tasmania. Tonight's IQ session is all about cardio versus weights. So ultimately, generally you find people either love cardio or hate cardio, or they're one or the other. They're like, I'm a weights person or I'm a cardio person. There's not too many that we class as a hybrid athlete that enjoy both and love both and understand why both are just as important as others. So you logged on tonight to find out whether you were right in the fact that you loved cardio the most and that's the one to do, or you love weights the most and that's the one to do. However, you're going to be bitterly disappointed, because the short answer to the question tonight is both are as vital as each other. But we're going to address all the benefits of both and as to why you need both in your life and what they do and how often you need to do it. So let me grab my notes on a trusty air flight ticket. I love it. Are you going to be joining me, Matt?
I'm probably just going to swoop from time to time.
He's literally just standing next to me, staring out the window. Anyway, weights. First of all, let's address weights. And what does weights give us from adding that into our exercise regime? First of all, strong muscles, the obvious one. Second of all, strong muscles create strong bones. That's a fact right there that a lot of people don't know. They think that you need an X amount of calcium and all this kind of thing. No, strong bones are created by strong muscles. The reason that is because the muscles actually pull on the bones, which is what tensions them and makes them stronger. It's kind of like, how do you explain it with like a towel?
It's when you twist the towel. It becomes tight.
All right,
I made the cut. I'm sorry.
I don't even know if I've got a tea towel here.
It's like grabbing a towel when it's loose and it being very weak, and then when you twist it, it becomes very, very tight. So
here's a tea towel I prepared earlier.
Imagine the muscle attaching to the bone, and as you do this, it becomes touched to the middle.
Oh, tight.
It's very hard. So that's what happens. The stronger the bones are, the stronger the muscles, the more it attaches to the bone, and pulls on the bone and places pressure on it, strengthens the bone, which helps you reverse osteoporosis, which is a big killer. I'm not a big killer. It's a big thing that injures a lot of elderly people, especially females.
Ladies.
Yeah. So this is where weights are so important for the ladies, because your bones deteriorate faster than men, and because of just our genetics and the way we're made up, and that's just unfortunately the way it is. So you need to be extra specially aware of what it is you need to be doing to make sure that those bones stay strong, so that when you do fall over one time, they don't just snap because they're brittle, which is what happens to elderly people. And I've shared this before and I'll share it again, but most elderly people, when they fall, and you hear them quite often breaking their hip, the reason they actually break their hip isn't because they fell. It's actually because their femur, which is the big main bone in the top of the leg there, it actually snaps, and then they fall over and it busts their hips because it's so brittle. Just walking is brittle enough to snap the bone. So you don't ever want to be in that situation where you have to fall and maybe break your bone. So that's what lifting weights does, is it allows the muscle to attach to the bone, place a lot of tension on it, create a lot of density to the bone, and help strengthen it. So that does more than what any pills, potions, and lotions for bones can do. And it's as simply as lifting weights.
There you go. Thank you.
Welcome.
Great introduction for you joining us tonight. Another thing that it does is helps with our posture and our structure. And when we're in great alignment, other things work well too. When we're out of alignment, that's when injuries can start, even just from neck injuries, if we're constantly hunched forward, et cetera, et cetera. So that also helps with posture, because it does help prevent other injuries that can occur too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much a lot of the...
It also regulates heat. It's another one there. So it actually helps you regulate your heat.
Another one is more muscle equals more fat burning at rest.
It's like a supercharger.
So most people are like, I do cardio because cardio makes me lose weight. Well, lifting weights can also help you lose weight.
Well, it's actually, and the idea of balance, right? You're trying to find the perfect equation to give you the optimal result. And so the question is, I don't know if it's on your notes, Sheridan, because I haven't seen your notes properly, but one of the things is how often...
His contribution in the flight was...
Sleeping. how often do you need to lift the weights? That's probably the main question, is because most people think when they about lifting weights is we remember things in extremes. We remember a bodybuilder, the obsessive person who's in the gym twice a day.
But don't ruin the next point.
What is the next
That's
point?
a great question, but we'll answer that later.
Sorry. This is why I said I'm reading notes.
Slow down there, tiger. All right, so that gives us everything that weights gives us. Now, what does cardio give us? First of all, what is cardio? It's the huffy puffy stuff. So it's like going for a run, doing a boot camp, cycling, all of those kind of things, right? So cardio. It gives us heart and lung strength because it actually uses them. Now, our heart is a muscle. So just like how we spoke about strong muscles in the body, the heart needs to be a strong muscle too. And for something to become strong, it needs to be used. It needs to be stretched. It needs to be put under pressure to create more. So it's just like getting stronger muscles by lifting something super, super light. If I lift this like 1,000 times, I'm not going to get stronger. But we need to lift heavy things, just like when it comes to cardio, we need to put the heart under pressure for it to become stronger as well. Now, what else we get? We get a chemical change in our body and specifically our brain. And that's when we get flooded with happy hormones and the happy drugs. So from a mood perspective, from a general health and well-being, there's a huge shift that happens in our body from the cardio exercise that is in itself super, super important, especially in this day and age when there's so much mental health challenges around as well. Super important to include that factor in. And cardio burns calories as well. So that's a really big one, which is why people say, I need to do lots of cardio to lose all the fat. Correct, yes. But again, like we said, it comes hand in hand with lifting weights as well.
Again, I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here. I want to share it as points, but what you need to be aware of is that actually when you are exercising cardiovascularly, is that the amount of calories that you do burn in that session is actually very minute compared to what you burn at rest, sitting like we are now. We burn more calories sitting and doing nothing than we do when we're exercising. But the catch is, when you get your fitness level up, which is the dedication to the cardiovascular and the weights, when you build that fitness level up nice and high, when you're at rest, you burn more calories at rest. The idea is that we burn more, everyone does, regardless of your fitness level, at rest than you do while you're exercising. Because exercising is only a short period of your day, and the day is obviously a lot more. So what you want to be making sure you do is get as fit as you possibly can through your cardiovascular and your strength training, so that you can have your body functioning and charging and burning more calories at rest, which is when you do most of the burning throughout the day.
Turn it into a fat burning machine.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what we do. All right, next point is, so how do we make the most of both of them, and how do we get the best out of both of them? This is more so where you
Cool.
coming into.
I should have read your notes.
You should have. All right, so first of all, weights. What we want to make sure we're doing is we're lifting heavy things. Now, something that is of weight, not necessarily heavy enough. Something, you need to be looking at something that you can lift no more than 15 times. Now, why is 15 the magic number?
Because it just gets repetitive. So if you're doing something a large amount of times, if I just do this and I do this and I do 20, 50 reps of it, I don't get any stronger. I recruit the same amount of muscle fibers and they just get more tired. So I don't get stronger. When you actually lift a heavy weight relevant to the person in front, it recruits more muscle fibers, which actually applies more stress to the body, which allows it to get stronger, not just a lightweight burning out those same muscle fibers.
So the heavier, the better, because it recruits all the muscle fibers, not just some of them. Now, the best use of lifting weights is once a week. Now, if someone loves weights, like, they're one-eyed, weights, you can do it multiple times, but you just have to split the body up. So for someone that doesn't enjoy lifting weights, it's just a simple push, pull legs, get it done, get out of there once a week. Now, the reason why we say once a week is because what happens when we're lifting heavy weights is that our muscle fibers actually tear, and upon the repairing of those muscle fibers, that's actually when we get stronger. So it's called the supercompensation process. What happens is we lift heavy things, there's little micro tears in our muscles, the amino acids that are are in our body because of the proteins and stuff that we eat, they come along and they're like the little building guys. They're the guys that repair all the muscles and like, yeah, we're going to make you stronger. You eat your green vegetables. They don't say that.
They don't.
I mean, very amount of protein, a small amount of protein comes from green vegetables, but it is in there. But they come along and they rebuild the muscle, but that takes about 7 to 10 days. So the reason why we don't want you to lift weights more than once a week is because if you were to lift weights in, let's say, 3 days time, you're going to be at your weakest now because you're already torn, you're already broken. So trying to lift and get stronger when you're already in a broken state, it doesn't really make sense, does it? So you want to be waiting till you're fully repaired so that you've got essentially more muscle fibers to recruit to lift heavier again.
Yeah. And there's a really cool analogy we shared with one time, and I'm going to share it right now because it's a little funny at the same time. It's like if you took a massive poo in the toilet and you go to flush it and it doesn't quite go down, right? So that tank, the system of water is your energy. So what happens when you flush it? That's your weight session. You're trying to push the poo down, it doesn't go. And if you don't allow that water system to fill back up and you push the button again, what happens? It doesn't have enough energy to push the water back down or the poo through. So it actually means that you're ineffective. You actually have to wait for that system to fill back up so you can give it another good shot. And that's the whole same system with the body, is you need to give it about 7 to 10 days, depending on the person. And
please don't give poo 7 to 10
no,
days.
that needs to be dealt with pretty quick. But the reality is the system is your best chance at pushing that poo through the toilet and getting your body to function optimally is to give it 7 to 10 days. The coolest part about that is it just means you don't have to spend all your time lifting weights in the gym like most gym girls, bodybuilders do. And the challenge with those guys is guys and girls, as they're emotionally addicted to the lifting of the weights, not the result. The result is a byproduct of it. They just love the feeling they get when they lift weights. So they become obsessive about the whole, I need to lift weights every day because otherwise I don't get damn gains. The idea is that you can actually do it with so much little effort, because remember that most people don't want to be up on stage. And if they do, that's great. That's their genre. We're not appealing to those people who have no challenge going to the gym and lifting a weight. We want to appeal to all those that are contemplating whether you lift weights or not. And the best part about that is that you only have to do it once a week to literally tick a box. Make sure you work your whole body in one effort and then leave it alone for a week. So it has to repair. Otherwise, it's just operating like a poo stuck in the toilet.
Exactly.
So,
now, for someone who does love lifting weights, then that's when you could split the body up, and you could split it up into the push, the pull, the legs, and do them on different days. When you're lifting weights in one go or 3 goes, doesn't matter. We always split the body up into those 3 categories, because then you're getting a full holistic approach to lifting weights without overdoing it, etc., etc. So someone like Matt, who loves lifting weights and enjoys gym time and some alone time from me,
favorite day of the week.
He goes to the gym twice a week. One day he does legs and the other day he does upper body, so that he's not overusing those muscles, but he's also getting in what he loves, because he is emotionally connected.
Time away from my wife.
He's emotionally connected to lifting the weights, or time away from the wife. So that's how he ticks the box. Me, however, I'm not as interested in lifting weights as Matt is, so I just do it once a week, and I do my push, my pull with my legs, and I get out of there as quick as I can. However, I'm more of the cardio lover. That's me. So let's go into the cardio stuff. Now, as said, weights are once a week or more if you want, but you have to split the body up. Cardio every day. Every day. Now the cardio stuff is short, sharp, hard, fast, get it done. You got to get huffy puffy. It's that gasping for air kind of feeling. That's particularly what we're aiming for. Again, remember, when we talk about lifting weights, you've got to recruit all the muscle fibers. Well, it's just like when we're doing cardio, you got to really put the heart under some pressure to get it stronger and bigger and pumping the blood around the body. So the biggest use of the heart and the lungs, so gasping, because your heart is a muscle, and so we need it to work heavy to grow stronger.
And the other perk to what Sharon's talking about there is that one of the number one excuses we get when people don't exercise is they say they don't have time, because they think to exercise and to get the fat burning thing, you have to go out and run for 2 hours and ride a bike every day and do this. So that one objection, which is exercise, we know the benefits of exercise, which is it's nothing but beneficial to your body. It's amazing. It does so many good things. but doing nothing is way worse than doing something. So if we can compress the time down, and I say to you, you've only got 4 minutes to do as much as you can, that's all you're allowed to exercise. Are you going to pace yourself for 4 minutes, or are you going to give it everything you've got, knowing that exercise gives you all these benefits? So the idea is that if you take the time away from people and you compress it into a short amount of time and say, this is all you have to do, then they work harder, which means that they get all those benefits from their body getting doing that really quickly. Sorry.
And sorry,
Easy
hopefully
flat
you didn't.
batteries.
Yep. And so the other benefit to that is the people that don't like cardio and they're not cardio people, 10 seconds, like, can you handle 10 seconds every day? Surely you can. You know, I don't meet too many people that are like, oh my God, I love brushing my teeth twice a day. It's the highlight of my day. But we do it because we need to look after the pearly whites, right? The same comes to exercise. It's even more so important than brushing our teeth twice a day, is getting in at least 10 seconds of extreme huffy puffy and like gasping for air, like nothing left kind of stuff. And that's a daily thing. There's no rest days from cardio. You do not need it. Your heart doesn't get a rest. It doesn't. Well, we don't want it to rest, because if it does, you're dead. Just an FYI. So weights once a week, cardio daily, and this is why when we say cardio versus weights, what's best? It's both, because both are done in conjunction with each other. Both are as important as each other. It's just like carbs, proteins, and fats. One is not more important for the body than the other. They're all necessary for a healthy, balanced diet for us to be, performing at optimal levels. So, and exactly the same for weights and cardio. So the pros of both: you get fat loss, you get muscle gain, you get happy drugs pumping through your body for free. Bone strength, reduce the risk of disease, because of all of this works together to build your immunity. It reduces the risk of things, some of the top killers in our world, like coronary heart disease, because it brings down your visceral fat levels, all those kind of things. And it's a mood improver. How many people do we know these days that are on antidepressants? Exercise can help that. Actually, antidepressants are just replicating what exercise benefits you get from exercise. So that's a really big one as well. So yeah, just keep it simple, make it easy. If you hate cardio, stick to 10 seconds. If you love cardio, just make sure you're doing it hard and fast and getting some efforts in there, and not just taking your time and going out for 2 hours at a time.
I think I'll work with you on the cardio thing too, because you got to remember that most people think cardio is running or swimming or biking. It's not the case. Cardio is what's best for you, that gets your heart elevated.
It might be
dancing. It could be dancing. It could be running upstairs. It could be whatever it is that floats your boat. That's the idea, is you choose something that you love to do, not what everyone else is doing. So there's no point you going along and doing a running class if you hate running and yet you love swimming. You may as well invest your time into the swimming rather than the running, because you're more likely to stick to it if you do the things that you love. So the key is to choose the cardio activity that you love to do and not what everyone else is doing.
There's plenty of options out there too. Last Thursday night, I went to Adam's aerobics class, which is an aerobic dance class. Hilarious. You get a sweat out, you get to laugh a lot, and you get to move your body. So there's plenty of options there for people to choose from cardio, and it doesn't have to be your good old standard running. But if you love running, go for it. But I think that pretty much covers what we wanted to talk about when it comes to cardio versus weights. Is one doesn't win over the other. Cardio daily, weights once a week. They're both as important as each other, but both need each other too. Your cardio gets better from your lifting weights and your weights gets better from your cardio input as well. So all hand in hand.
And we're staying with our friend Kimmy at the moment. And so while we're staying with her, we're chatting away to her and finding out what her understanding of fitness has been for all her years, where she hasn't had us in her life to sort of help her guide her through. And there's a lot of things that have deterred her and slowed down all the progress that she wants to look for. And so the reality is that she's made it very complicated. It's not her fault. It's the fitness industry's fault for saying, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you can only eat this, you can only do that. But the reality is, if you make it as simple as all it needs to be is move daily, lift weights once a week, eat well, eat more foods from the ground than you do that come from a package, you're going to have a very different life if you just adhere to those sorts of things there. You can have your sometimes foods, but treat them as sometimes foods. But the reality is that if you can move every day doing something that you love and lift weights once a week with the purpose of getting stronger, with the purpose of increasing the strength in your bones, with the purpose of making sure that you never have to have help lifting something off something, you know, that we get people that come in and they can't raise their elbow, their shoulder up here to take something off the shelf. Like that type of stuff should never affect you, and it doesn't have to, as long as you maintain your body and stay very strong. Typically most, and I say females, it sounds very sexist, but typically in most females, once they hit the age of retirement, they sit, they stop doing everything, and they dwindle very quickly. And you'll notice that the females will age almost overnight because they stop. And the moment you stop, the bones, just everything rapidly decreases fast. And that's when you become things. So elderly people, mature people should definitely be lifting weights once a week. It doesn't have to be PBs every week. It just needs to be put some strength and resistance through your body, because your body wants it, loves it, craves it.
And it's whatever is heavy for you. So each person is different. What I can lift is very different to Matt. We have a question come through. Should you still do cardio on a weights day? 100%. Every day. Every day. You might just tweak the type of cardio that you do on a weights day, and maybe your weights comes first so it gets the most energy out of you, and then your cardio on that day maybe is shorter and not as intense, but 100% get in the habit of moving every day.
Because the benefits of cardio are different to the benefits of lifting weights. Because you get all that adrenaline sort of surge, you get that same sort of thing through weights, but not as aggressive as it is when you're exercising.
Cardio, the cardio happy drugs are way more intense and instant compared to the weights.
Weights are slow and controlled. You know, it's 1, 2. It's not fast. It's just resistance through the body. Whereas cardio is as much effort as you apply to it is what you're going to get back from it.
So in short, cardio versus weights, they both win. Put them both into your agenda. Hopefully we've answered all your questions tonight. Did you have any others, Erin? Are you good? That's sweet. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. It's a short one tonight, but it didn't need to be long because it's pretty simple. Both are great.
Never complicated.
And do them the way that you love doing them. So incorporate them however you see fit. The challenge is a lot of gyms and fitness professionals tell you that the only way to do something is the way they do it. Well, that's only the case for them because that's the way they enjoy it. So find whatever makes you the happiest to keep you at it and sticking to it for forever, because we only die when we stop. So thank you guys so much. We love you. That's number 96 done. We'll see you next week.
See you, legends.
Peace out. Thank you.